Adele, Rolling in the Deep. This is actually a really cool bass line. Most of this is just played on the guitar. It's not actually played on the bass, but I switched it to the bass, and it's really cool because there's a lot of muting in this lesson actually, which is a good thing to know. It's a good thing to have in your toolbox to be able to just not, you know, pluck a note, but to be able to get that sound there. We'll call it, you know, all kinds of cool effects you can do with that kind of stuff, and you can mute. You can palm mute with your hand. You can do it with your forearm. You can even do stuff like, you know, if you're slapping and popping, you can mute, you know, that top E string with your forearm. Make sure that doesn't sound out. That's a different lesson altogether. So let's get into Adele, Rolling in the Deep. I am Finbar of Finbar Bass. Okay, so what are those bass videos all about down when you click on the YouTube text box right there? Well, bass playing is kind of a time of discovery, you know? It's like an adventure. You're learning new stuff all the time. You're increasing your chops. You're getting better, right? So we need to practice bass. And when we're practicing, you know, and learning all these different techniques, like through these videos, why not make it fun, right? I mean, that's great. If you can actually get better on the bass, you know, and learn all these different songs or techniques or whatever, and, you know, and have fun doing it instead of just doing it through, you know, repetitious, you know, study, then that's a fantastic thing, and that's fun. You're doing it through something that you love. You're doing it through music, and that makes it just so much easier to do and so much better. So don't forget, click on the clicker box right down there in the YouTube text box. I think it's really going to help you out. So the first thing I want to show you is this little muting technique here. Basically, all I'm doing is I'm just palm muting. So instead of letting that ring out, I'm actually placing the heel, see this part of my palm right here. I'm on the 3rd fret. I'm just holding down the 3rd fret of the A string, right? And I have my palm all the way back toward the bridge, and I'm actually plucking the string with my finger. Just like that. So I have my palm actually laying down on that string to mute it out so it doesn't sound out, right? And I'm plucking it. And you can actually, you know, change the amount of muting you're having by the amount of pressure and kind of where you have your palm on the strings here. So that's just a little bit of muting right there. And then you can kind of mute the whole string out right there. Bring your hand up a little bit. All different kinds of effects you can get with that, but that's what I'm doing here. I'm just basically palm muting these strings. So there's actually a little bit of an interesting rhythm going on here. What's happening is you're hanging over into the next measure with all these 1/8 notes that you're hitting here. You're not stopping right at the bar. Actually, you're just going to do 2 measures of 1/8 notes right on the 3rd fret of the A string, and that's just right, you know, kind of like the little prelude in the song, just like that. And that's just 2 measures, 8 notes per measure, 1/8 notes. And then you're going to do another one, and that's where, on the 3rd measure, that's where she's going to come in and start singing. There's a fire. And then what you're going to do is, instead of actually then just switching to your next measure, which is going to be on the 3rd fret of the E string, so it was an A string, then you're going to the E string, so you go. That'd be like normal, right? That's just 2 measures of 1/8 notes, 3rd fret and 3rd fret. But what happens here is you're actually going to stay on that 3rd fret of the A string for 1 extra note. So you'd be like 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. So on that 1 of the next measure, you didn't switch yet. You're actually still on that 3rd fret of the A. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. And 2 and 3 and 4 and. See, then when you hit the and, you're actually already in that measure, and you're on the 3rd fret of the E string. If you want to, of course, you could just listen to the song over and over again and try and figure out, just sort of by instinct, you know, with your own musical intuition where that goes. But if you wanted to count it out, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and just like that. And this one, same thing. You're going to leak into the next measure with one more hit on that 3rd fret of the E string before you go back into the 1st fret of the A string. So you're going to hit the 3rd fret of the A, 3rd fret of the E, 1st fret, you're going to be right up here, 1st fret of the A string. So you got, so that measure is actually 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and see, I'm hitting that 3rd fret first. And then you're going to go to the, you're going to stay on that 1st fret for the 1st part of that measure. So you're going to hit just like that. That's the last measure. So you got 1 hit here on the 1st fret of the A, 4 hits on the 3rd fret of the E, and then you have time in that measure with 8th notes for 3 more hits on that 1st note of the A string. So just like that. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and just like that. Now the next part isn't as tricky. You're basically going, I'm still muting this. What I do now to mute this part is I use my thumb. I'm playing with my thumb and I'm actually muting with, you know, doing the palm muting as well. Right, so you got the 4th fret of the E string. It's all going to be on E string. So you got 4th fret, 8 hits there, 6th fret, 3rd fret, and then 4th fret again. 6, 3, 4. And then you repeat that. 4, 6, and then you're going to hit the 3rd fret for 2 measures. There's 1 measure, and on the next measure you can kind of crescendo that. Come off of your muting a little bit. So it's going to start off very muted, and then come out so you can play it louder and louder. Because then the next part is going to be chorus. That part that I just showed you right there with the thumb, 4, 6, 3, 4, that's where she sings the scars of your love, right? And then it's going to blast into the chorus. So that part right there, the chorus, don't mute that at all. Just go ahead and play normal notes for that on on the bass, just to get that, you know, that the notes blasting out after the crescendo kind of idea here. And you're going to be on the 3rd fret of the A string, and then down to the 1st fret. These are 8th notes. You're going to play a measure on the 3rd fret, measure on the 1st fret of the A string, then go down to the 4th fret of the E. Right, 8 hits there, and then 4 more. So you're going to climb back up to like a turnaround to get back into the to the chorus there. So you got, if I did that whole thing. Back into it. Give this a shot. Basically all you're doing is you're climbing up there just for a little bit of interest. And all that is very simple. Go chromatically 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th fret of the E string. So you're on your, so when you're on the 4th fret of the E string, you're going to hit that for the 1st measure, 8 notes. Then you're going to hit it 3 more times. Just like that. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. Just like that. All right, you got it, yo. Adele rolling in the deep, cool bass line with all the muting done. Anyway, thank you so much for listening. Don't forget to click on the little YouTube clicker box right down there if you haven't yet to get those videos that are not on YouTube, 3 lessons for you. Other than that, you could always subscribe to Finbar Bass. Got over 200 lessons for you to learn, and if you subscribe, you'll know exactly when they're coming out, because I don't even know when they're going to come out. Anyway, thank you so much for listening, and have fun with that.